Hey guys, so this is going to be the last bit of our little loop section here. So we're going to be talking about a for in range loop. So I don't know if that's the official term, but basically we have this function that's built into Python called range, and it does some cool things for us. So we're going to start by looking at some small examples, and then what we'll do is we'll pull up the example from last time and we'll rewrite it using a for in range loop. So let me explain what I have here. So you'll recognize this format from last time. I say for some number in range 0 through 5, print this number. So last time, this was a list. We had a list of numbers that we would loop through, and in this case, we'd just be printing every number in that list. But let's actually run this first to see what we get. So we get 0 through 4 printed out. So what's happening is range takes two numbers and they have to be comma separated, and it says start at this number and count up until this number but not to that number. That's why you don't see a 5 here. So what's happening is the first time this runs, we say number gets set equal to 0, so then we print 0. We get to the end of the loop, and since there's still more numbers in this range, this 0 to 4 range, we come back up here, set number equal to 1, print number, set number equal to 2, print number, all the way through 4. So this is used very commonly, and you'll see why in just a minute, but I'm going to show you some tricks. So let's say I didn't want to add 1 every time. Let's say I wanted to go 0, 2, 4, add by 2 every time. So what I'll do is I'll put another number here, again separated by a comma, and say I want to increase by 2. So you see 0, 2, 4 print out. So again, what this is saying is start at 0, count up by 2 until you reach 5. So that's why we see 0, 2, 4 print out. And the last trick I'll show you is you can actually just give it one number, and if you do that, it says start counting at 0 and count up until the number you give it. So if we run this, we should see 0 through 4 print out, and it does. So again, if I change this to a 3, I'm going to see 0, 1, and 2 print out, but we don't see the 3 print out, just like that. So now I've pulled up this old program that we wrote last time, and you can see we used a for in loop to find the average of these test scores. So we're going to go through the same process again, but we're going to rewrite it using a range. So we can leave test scores alone. This is just some lists we're going to go through. You can see we have my sum, which is the sum variable. It's going to hold the sum of all the test scores. So I'm going to rewrite this loop. So what I'm going to say is for my num in some range, and this is going to seem like magic, so just stick with me to the end and I promise it'll make sense. So what I'm going to say is my range, right now I'll just say 6 because I have 6 numbers. So range, when given 6, gives me the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is also the indexes or the indices of these numbers. So this is at index 0, index 1, all the way through index 5. So what I can say is I want to add to my sum. What do I want to add to it? My test scores. And I'm going to use this bracket notation. I'll say at my num. So what this is saying is my num starts off at 0. So give me or add to my sum whatever is at index 0 in test scores, which is 81. We get to the end of our loop, we still have more numbers, so my num is now 1. Add to my sum whatever is in test scores at position 1, which is 85, and this continues on all the way until we have added 80 to my sum. And now, if everything is correct, we should be able to run this and get 64. And we do. So the last thing I'm going to do is fix up this 6. If I change the number of items in this list, my code will break because I no longer have 6 elements. So we're going to do the same thing we did down here. I'm going to take the length of my list, and that's how many times I'm going to loop. So now doing this will allow us to get 64, just the same. And now I can add numbers to my list and have the average change. So I hope you learned something. I'll see you guys in the next one.